everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear. We're looking at a fill station today. This is the Warrior Deluxe Fill Station. A couple of things we want to talk about before we even get to the fill station. If you're deciding to fill your bottles at home, please do a little bit of research on how to fill your bottles at home, rather than just jumping right into it and getting in over your head. There's a couple things you will need besides this to even have the ability to fill a bottle at home. This is a CO2 fill station, so you're going to be filling CO2 bottles only, not compressed air bottles. But you're going to need or acquire or have access to a large bulk cylinder of liquid CO2 in order to use this right here. So you might be able to get that from a gas supply company. That's where we get ours from. But you need to have this bulk cylinder in a certain form. All right, obviously we know that it's liquid CO2 that is inside the tank. When it comes into here, it's liquid CO2 that is inside the bulk cylinder. But there needs to be a device inside of the bulk cylinder so that it is only drawing liquid CO2 out and putting it into the other bottle. So when you get your bulk cylinder, it needs to be a siphon CO2 cylinder. If it is not, you will not be able to fill these correctly. All you'll be doing is taking CO2 gas, carbon dioxide gas, and putting it into your bottle, which will get you 3 shots, maybe at the most. So you need to make sure that liquid is being pulled out of that bottle and being put into this bottle. That's the first step right there. Before we even get to filling, that needs to be there. The only other way around that, I guess, is to have a normal CO2 cylinder and flip it over so that it is upside down. And that would be a nightmare. So make sure that your fill bottle, your bulk bottle, is a siphon CO2. Otherwise, this will not work. So let's get that out of the way. Now, filling your bottle. So with our siphon CO2 system, this is going to connect to it right here. So this is going to thread on to the large cylinder. Make sure that you're using this little Teflon washer in between. It goes inside here, so it creates a seal between the tank and the fill station. You get 2 of those inside there. Those are very important. Make sure you've got those in there. Now, once you've screwed this on and it's connected, let's just go over the couple parts of our tank. We've got our adapter right here to connect it. We've got our gas on and off valve right here. We've got our bleed on and off valve right here. And then we have the device coming down, which is going to connect to our tank. Okay? So when it comes to filling, first thing we want to do is connect this and then make sure that this is in the closed position. All right, so once it's on, this is closed, whatever direction it needs to be. I'm not sure which way it is. Let me look real quick. So this is the closed position. This is the open position. So we want to make sure that this is closed, and then we would open up the bulk tank. So the liquid from the bulk tank starts flowing through, and then it stops right here. All right, and then we're just going to leave this one open. We don't need to open, close over here. We just leave it open. Next thing we want to do is to make sure that our bleed section is closed as well. That way, when we open this and the gas starts to flow through, it doesn't just flow right out the other side. We want to make a block right here and force it through the tube into our tank that we're filling. All right, so next step would be closed, connect bottle. We're going to screw in the bottle down here. Screw it in. All right, now I'm not going to screw this all the way in because it doesn't need to be for our purposes. All right, the next step from there would be to open the bottle. All right, we want to turn our ASA in so that the pin gets pushed on the valve, and we're making an open circuit through the hose to the fill station when it starts to fill. All right, so this is all the way in, open all the way to here. We're ready to go. At that point, we are then going to open this, allowing gas or liquid to come inside here and fill up our bottle. Another thing when it comes to filling CO2 tanks if the bottle itself is not cold, and when I say cold, I mean frosted over, cold to the touch, you will not get a good fill out of it. If it is warm, room temperature, whatever it happens to be, it'll only fill maybe halfway up, maybe not even halfway up. What happens is, as soon as that liquid CO2 gets into the warm bottle, it starts to expand into gas right away. That expansion of gas takes up space inside the bottle. So if this is warm, there's not enough room inside of it, because as liquid comes in and starts to fill up, gas expands and doesn't allow any more room for liquid inside of there. So if we make sure that the bottle is cold, as the liquid comes in, less of it turns into a gas and you get a better fill. Okay, so the bottle needs to be cold, and to get it cold, you fill it a little bit and then you cut that off and then you bleed it. So the what you just put in, you start bleeding it out. And I kind of shake the bottle when I do it at the same time. That filling and bleeding, it really will chill the bottle down, and it will make it very cold. Cold to the touch where you can't even hold on to it and you would freeze your fingers off. So get some gloves also. So once we get the bottle nice and cold, then we can lock that off again, open this up, and do a proper fill. Now the only way to do a proper fill is by weight. So make sure you know how many ounces of CO2 you are putting in, starting from always an empty bottle. I never recommend having a bottle that is halfway full and then trying to gauge how much more CO2 you're putting into there. There's no gauge that shows you that. There's no way to do it other than by weight. So always start from 0, and then for a tank like this, it's a 20-ounce tank. So if your scale reads 0, you fill it up 20 ounces. Call it a day. You're done. All right, so we've got our tank on there. We've chilled our bottle down. We are now filling it up in there. We've got it on the scale. It hits 20 ounces. I usually go a little bit under, like 19 and a half. Then we close that so no more gas can come in here. Then we undo this, right? Because we want to, this pressure that's in the line right here, because remember, we cut this off, so this is still pressurized all the way into the bottle. We've got it trapped in between here. We want to undo this so that we're no longer pushing the pin down inside of our tank. So the gas that is now in our tank is trapped in our tank. It can't come back out this way. So now all we're dealing with is the pressure that is in here and then back through the line to right here. Once we've done that, we open this one back up. All of this pressure goes and bleeds off of there. And that's it. Once we've bled the pressure out, we can unscrew the bottle, put it on our gun, and go play. Sounds like a complicated step or a system right there, but it's really not. Once you kind of do it a couple times, you're like, oh, I get it. Do this, do that, do this, do that, chill the bottle, do the thing, bleed it out. Very, very simple. Make sure you are weighing your bottles, weighing them from empty to then full, not in between. Start at 0, go to where you need to be. Chill your bottles, make sure you have a siphon CO2, and the setup will work for you. Long-winded, but we got there in the end. This is the Warrior Deluxe Fill Station. It's available through the website. Order yours through ansgear.com.